Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Timan Lu, and I am a proud mother, senator on Downtown Student Council, and an ESL student at CCSF. On behalf of the Office of Student Activities and my council, I'm very excited to welcome you to our fourth Leadership Fireside Chat this semester. For those who are not familiar with the Leadership Development Program, the purpose of this leadership chat is to equip CCSF students and student leaders with a wealth of leadership insights, tips, and strategies. We hope you have a better understanding of leadership in an action from a diverse group of effective and seasoned leaders across various industries. Before we introduce today's speaker, Raymond Hino, I'd like to share a few details about the program. First, those who attend 7 out of 10 fireside chats during the academic year are eligible to receive a certificate of participation at a recognition event in the spring semester. Every section is open to all students, even if you decide not to participate in the certificate part of the program. Since you have registered for today's section, thanks to Zoom, we have a record of your attendance. Nothing further is needed on your end to mark your participation. Next, please note that this section will be recorded. The links will be posted on CCSF Student Activities Office website for you to view later or to share with others so that they may benefit from this learning opportunity as well. If you have any questions about the Leadership Fireside Chat program and the certificate of participation, please email studentactivities@ccsfly@mail.ccsf.edu. I would like also to share a little bit regarding today's format. After these opening remarks, Geisce Ly, the Interim Vice Chancellor of Academic and Institutional Affairs, will interview today's speaker for about 15 minutes. If you have any questions for Raymond, please enter them in the chat directly to Amy, who will assisting with the Q&A portion. At around 5 p.m., there will be a question and answer opportunity for Raymond to respond to your question. During the last 10 minutes of our time together, we will invite you to share what you learned today that will help you in your leadership development journey. I'm now going to turn it over to Tony, who is going to share about our leadership program. Thank you.
Thank you, Timan. Hello, everyone. Welcome. And again, thank you for joining us today. My name is Anton Chicherin, and I'm a senator on the Downtown Associated Student Council and ESL student at CCSF. And I'm delighted to introduce today's speaker, Raymond Hino. Raymond is a native Californian, born in Hollywood and raised in Pomona. He earned his bachelor's and master's degrees from the University of Southern California. Ray currently serves as the Chief Executive Officer of the Southern Coos Hospital and Health Center in Bend, Oregon. During his career in hospital administration, he has served in a variety of administrative positions in hospitals, including 25 years in CEO level positions in hospitals. He has worked in urban and rural, large and small, and proprietary, nonprofit, and governmental hospital institutions. Ray is nationally known as a forward-thinking leader in the healthcare field, with vast experience in healthcare operations and policy at the state and federal level. He is known for his contributions in healthcare administration, health information technology, telemedicine, Medicaid managed care, and rural healthcare delivery. In 2008, he achieved fellow status in the American College of Healthcare Executives. In 2016, he achieved the distinction of becoming the first and only hospital CEO to reopen a California district hospital that had previously closed its doors. So he's the only California hospital CEO to have converted 3 California rural hospitals to critical access hospital designation, and thus preserving access to health care in those communities. In 2006, he was recognized by the California Hospital Association Rural Healthcare Center for outstanding contribution to rural healthcare. In 2013, he was a recipient of the California State Rural Health Association Rural Champion Award. In 2014, he was named by Becker's Hospital Review to its inaugural list of 50 rural hospital CEOs to know. And now I would like to turn it over to Vice Chancellor Geisce Ly, who will be chatting with Ray about his leadership journey and experiences. So Geisce, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Anton, and thank you, Timon, for the opening remarks. I am just so delighted again to have the opportunity to interview another amazing leader. For the folks on the call, just so that you know, I've known Raymond for the last 15 years. He is just an amazing leader. He is so very authentic. He cares deeply about healthcare. And again, I think it's great that we have him to join us today to talk about what it's like to be a hospital CEO. As you heard from his bio, he's been a CEO for 25 years. That's a very, very long time. So I just love to hear about his leadership journey. He's going to share some stories with us. He's going to provide some practical tips, especially for those of you who want to go into the health field. Healthcare field. I think you'll gain a lot of insight and valuable tidbits from today's session. So again, for the folks on the call, thank you so much for joining us. Raymond, again, it's an honor to hang out with you today. You're just an amazing leader. When I started out, 15 years ago, I would look, to Raymond to provide me with guidance and insight, because at that point in time, I was a brand new dean and I didn't know what to do. And again, part of my own leadership journey was to be mentored by somebody, and Raymond was definitely one of my mentors. So again, today we have the the honor of Raymond sharing his insight with all of you. So without further ado, I will pose the first question, and we'll start this fireside chat. So Raymond, tell us more about your career path and how you got to where you are today.
Well, first of all, Geisce, thank you so much for the invitation and the opportunity to participate in the Leadership Fireside Chat program. I've heard about it and the wonderful job that everybody's doing, and it's just really an honor and a privilege to be here, and I really appreciate it. The answer to your first question is I started off in my journey in Southern California, as you know, a native Californian, Los Angeles County, I was a student at the University of Southern California. I actually started my college career at Cal Poly Pomona, my hometown. I went to Cal Poly Pomona for 2 years and then transferred to USC as a junior in public administration. I ended up graduating with my bachelor's degree in public administration, then making the decision to remain enrolled in school, pursue my master's degree. In the public administration program, we were required to subspecialize. We had to choose between public policy, urban planning, healthcare administration, other choices, and I selected healthcare administration. The reason was because as an undergraduate, I had taken some classes and started doing actually research in a public hospital in Los Angeles. So it interested me. I got an opportunity to get some real life experience as an undergraduate working in the LA County hospital system, chose to do my master's degree in healthcare administration and public administration, got my degree at master's degree at age 24, started working immediately in hospital administration. In my career, I've worked at all the variety of hospitals that was mentioned a few minutes ago. My journey has taken me out of state. I've worked in Texas and New Mexico, Montana. I returned back to Southern California, and most recently now I'm working in the state of Oregon, but have had a lot of wonderful opportunities, different sizes and types of hospitals, and it's been a great career.
Well, you've done a lot and you're certainly leaving a legacy for sure. So in terms of getting to know your decision making, public administration is something that people have heard about, but not really know what it is. So can you say more about what is public administration if someone were to pursue a bachelor's or a master's in public administration?
Absolutely. So I didn't either. And I actually started as a math major as a freshman in college. And the reason I started as a math major was because in high school, math was my favorite subject. I was in an advanced class. They kept our class together with the same instructor. We were taking calculus as seniors. Math was my most fun class. So when I chose my first major, I chose math, but I then found at Cal Poly, math wasn't fun anymore. I didn't have all my classmates. I didn't have my instructor. It started to get harder. So I started looking for a new major. And I was looking at different choices, and I was actually moving towards political science, thinking that public service and public policy might be of interest to me. I started taking political science classes as an undergraduate at Cal Poly, and I had an instructor who was touting public administration, as saying that public administration is an emerging field with lots of opportunity with growth in government and government opportunities. He highly encouraged it. And at the same time, I was looking to transfer. I'd grown up in Pomona. I'd started my college in Pomona. I wanted to transfer. I decided to go to USC, and it turned out that USC had one of the best schools of public administration in the country. It's now called the Price School of Public Policy, one of the top-rated colleges. And so I felt like with the influence of my instructor and the fact that USC was so highly rated, that was a good decision for me. And in answer to your question, it was a great major, a great opportunity, a lot of city government type opportunities. In fact, when I graduated with my bachelor's degree and started looking for career opportunities, one of the first ones that came up was with the city of Fresno. There was an opportunity for a city manager administrative trainee, and I signed up. It was a civil service test to test for that city of Fresno position. and showed up to take the civil service test in Fresno. There was 200 people in the room taking the exact same test for one position. I ended up deciding, you know what, I didn't get the job, and deciding, you know what, this is maybe more competitive than I thought, and I could use some more education. So that's why I made the decision to stay in school and get my master's degree, get more education, subspecialized, and healthcare administration turned out to be a good choice for me.
That's great. And, it's one of those, one closed door leads to another opportunity. So, certainly it's a great example of, just because you don't get selected or chosen for a job, you got to keep forging ahead. So Raymond,
I found that over and over again during my career. That's exactly right. That sometimes the job that you really, really want doesn't come through, but something even better comes along.
Right. So Raymond, I asked this question a lot of the previous speakers. What are your core values and beliefs that drive you to really be this amazing, exceptional leader? What drives you? I'd love to hear more about your core values and beliefs.
Yep. A great question. Number one for me is collaboration. Collaboration, working with others. I found in my career and being effective, it's very important to recognize that none of us can do it alone. We all need to work with others. One of the first things that I did in my current role was to reach out to the other hospitals in Southern Oregon and let them know that I'm here to collaborate because we want to work together. A second core value, I think, would be transparency. And I really believe in strong communication skills, letting our employees and our community know what's going on at their local hospital. I do that by making frequent rounding in the facility, doing community forums in our community to meet with our population and stakeholders. Maybe a third core value might be integrity and treating everyone at every level in our organization and in our community with equal dignity and respect. I think everyone deserves equal respect, no matter their position within our organization, and I treat everybody the same.
Well, I could definitely vouch for the fact that you're very collaborative, you're very transparent, and you definitely have tons of integrity. There's no doubt. So again, I think that's why you've been so successful. Again, 25 years as a CEO, that is a rare breed.
Well, thank you for that, Jesse. It's 25 years as a CEO. I actually have more years of experience than that, but many years at the assistant level and vice president level, but 25 years as a CEO in this chair, absolutely.
Yeah. So again, in your bio, you worked in urban hospitals, rural hospitals, large hospitals, small hospitals, proprietary, nonprofit, different states. What are some key differences for the folks on the call? What are some key differences and distinctions between amongst these hospitals?
Yeah. As you know from my bio and my experience, I have gravitated my career towards more rural and smaller facilities. There's some of the attributes of smaller hospitals and rural hospitals that I really like. That would include the fact that in a smaller hospital, smaller community, you get I get more of a family sense. You get an opportunity to know everybody. And as I talked a few minutes ago about integrity and treating everyone with equal respect, I'm interested in knowing how things are going in the lives of our employees at every level of the facility. And I can walk through the facility and know the names of almost everybody in our organization and a little bit about their background and take a real interest in them. So I think that's one of the positive attributes of being in a smaller facility, as well as in a smaller community and being such a key linchpin to the overall community health and wellness of our community is important, and ability to do something that maybe perhaps you can't in a larger facility. I think smaller hospitals maybe can be considered to be a little bit more nimble with ability to make corrections and changes and take action, perhaps with fewer levels of bureaucracy. But I've been on the other side too. I've been one of 10 vice presidents in a urban hospital of 400 patients, and of course, urban hospitals have their pluses and minuses as well. In the urban hospital, we were a major trauma center, taking care of gang violence every day, and delivering hundreds of babies every month, and being a key safety net facility, which I thought was very important, as well as a teaching hospital. I take great pride in the fact that we taught 100 resident physicians to be the future physicians and leaders. I mean, I have experience in corporate for-profit hospitals as well, and they can be quite unique. In the corporate for-profit, there's a little bit more ability for privacy. The public hospitals are very transparent, with elected boards of directors and open meeting laws and open records, so that everything is available for public scrutiny. A lot less so in the for-profit corporate environment, but a lot of pressure to please the stockholders in those particular situations. I think every size and type of hospital has their own unique benefits and challenges. I've become kind of a specialist in the smaller rural hospitals where I'm most comfortable.
Well, it's great to hear your journey, because again, you are absolutely passionate for sure. But like you said, you certainly have a special place in your heart, right, to provide access to healthcare in rural communities. And that's something that you've been doing for a good 20 so years, I believe.
Yeah.
So what event led you to find that passion?
That's a great question. I mean, I think that my career path led me to rural facilities initially because it was actually a quicker path to get into the CEO chair. And I found when I was in a vice president in a large hospital and seeking my first CEO role, there's a lot of smaller hospitals that are looking for qualified applicants and candidates for CEOs. So initially, I think I moved more towards the rural facility because it was a quicker path. But I found that once there, that it's really a very important position to be in. The unique nature of rural hospitals in particular is that they're so necessary and key to the livelihood and really the overall community health of a community. It's where the emergency room is located, and where the difference between life and death. I had countless numbers of people and individuals that have said to me, "I'm so thankful to your hospital because you saved my life," or "You saved my mother's life." Our role as a smaller facility frequently is that we have the ability to stabilize and provide immediate life-saving treatment with a qualified emergency room physician and critically trained nursing staff and life-saving equipment. We oftentimes transfer those patients, once stabilized, to a larger facility with more specialists and more access to technology. But we're there on the front lines saving lives and making sure that that our family members and community survives that first golden hour before getting to a larger facility. So I guess I would answer your question by saying initially it was driven by a desire to get to the CEO level as quickly as possible. But once there, I found I really liked it.
Well, I think Raymond may remember this, but my 10-year-old daughter was delivered at the Mendocino Coast Hospital, and your staff, they were wonderful. Raymond was the CEO at that time, so again, I always have a special place for the Mendocino Coast Hospital. But you know, in terms of what you shared, Raymond, you are super caring, supportive. How you continue to support your hospital staff, the patients, and the communities you serve?
Yes, and I do remember the birth of your daughter, and that is another a unique, wonderful opportunity of being in the smaller facilities. Is you establish a connection with your patients and the community. It's not only a family of people working in the hospital, but it's a family of the community as well. And I really enjoyed getting to know you and your family, and having an opportunity to work with your college in our hospital. But support, I think, is, I mean, that's a great segue as well. For me, I like to support our employees in our community and our trustees through initially actually having a good plan. And one of the things that I did when I came to the my current position, Southern Coos Hospital, and it's actually been the same thing at almost every hospital I've been at, is we've engaged in a strategic plan. And it's been a very transparent process. We include our employees. In the Mendocino Coast Hospital, we included our labor union as a stakeholder in our strategic plan and planning for the future. But our trustees, our employees, the community, citizens groups, elected leaders came together in a full day session to talk about the future of our hospital, the needs, what the community needs, and as well as what we're able to deliver. So, and I start with, and we did it recently with Southern Coos as well, developed a strategic plan, very transparent policy program with community representatives invited. We had speakers from the community that talked from the local clinic and other agencies about the importance of the hospital. And we developed a very solid plan that our board is very happy with. I'm happy with. We now have a roadmap, and we know where we're headed. We know that what we need to do in order to become the hospital of choice for everybody that lives, works, owns a business, is a tourist or visiting our area. We know what we need to do. And secondly, as I mentioned, I think supporting staff community is transparency, and making sure, as I said in one of your earlier questions, I have employee forum meetings, all staff meetings every single month. We have one on the day shift, one on the night shift as well. I come in at night to meet with the night shift so that they're not forgotten, and cover everything that's going on in the hospital so that they feel like they know, not only do they know what's going on, but they have access to the CEO. And like I said, they know who I am. They're very comfortable in asking questions. They're very comfortable in telling me their concerns.
That's great that you show up again in the evening shift, right? And
Yeah.
It's good to be present and be accessible.
Yeah.
And you know, you're very good at that, and you're a great role model for always being available and accessible. And you're so very inviting as well. So I definitely agree. So you know, for the folks on the call, you know, most of us don't know what it's like in terms of a typical day of a hospital CEO. So Raymond, if you can share with us what does a typical day look like?
Yeah, I think I normally, start the day before, if not the week before, in planning out a week in advance of what the commitments are and what I need to do in order to be successful. But on a day-to-day basis, I always check my calendar at the end of the day to see what I have coming up tomorrow and who I'm going to be meeting with and what I need to do to be very well prepared to make a good impression and to deliver on what's needed in order to accomplish our goals. I try to spend, as you gather from some of my previous comments, as much time as possible in the facility, walking the facility, talking to our staff, meeting with patients, and checking to see how we're doing. Do we have everything we need today, or do we have any staffing shortages? Are there any particular outside issues or concerns? So I do make an effort to get out into the facility, meet with people, and that extends to external stakeholders as well. If I'm meeting with another civic leader, business leader, hospital, I often travel to their office rather than having them come here. I mean, I want to meet with them in their turf and see what they're currently dealing with and be able to work with them from their vantage point. A lot of time spent during the day on the phone, on the computer, countless Zoom meetings every day as well, and pretty long days. I start my day generally at about 8:30 in the morning. I leave at generally about 7 o'clock at night. I frequently am the first person in the office in the morning and the last one in the office to leave at night. And I like to set that example.
And you also have work-life balance, which is remarkable. So Raymond, I don't know how you do it. So in terms of sharing with the audience, what do you enjoy most about being a hospital CEO, and what are some challenges?
Yeah, what I enjoy most is I do enjoy being the face of our organization in the community. I do not mind at all or shy away from being the person that people think of when they're forming opinions of the hospital, and that's one of the reasons why I do a lot of community speaking and a lot of community outreach, because my feeling is that if I can make a positive impression on our public, our stakeholders in our community, and impress upon them that that we're open and listening and willing to learn and change, that will make a positive reflection on our facility as well. So being the public face of the facility is something that I really enjoy as far as being a hospital CEO. And I like being in a position to make a difference, someone that can help influence change, perhaps introduce new ideas, new technology. I like networking with other facilities, organizations, being involved at a state and national level, as was mentioned in my bio at the very beginning. So if I can bring ideas that have worked from other parts of the country that can be effective and help us, I'm all about learning and doing that. We do have significant challenges as well. Of course, you're absolutely right. Sometimes it can be lonely in the CEO chair, and the buck stops here, as everyone knows, and sometimes you do have to make the tough call and tell somebody that unfortunately they no longer have a job with our facility, or their position has been eliminated. I mean, I have been in the tough situation of doing layoffs, which is a very, very difficult position to be in. I wanted to be, when we were in that situation, and I wanted to be the one to tell the affected employees, not send out a memo, not send out a messenger. So, I had a meeting with the affected employees to tell them, what was happening, but what we were going to be able to do for them to help them continue perhaps elsewhere. And that was a difficult day. We've had challenges through COVID. Everybody has. COVID has affected us as a facility and as leaders with staffing challenges. I think hospital leaders today tend to say their number 1, 2, and 3 challenges: staffing. With there's been a lot of health professionals that have left hospitals, and many have turned to doing traveling nursing assignments. You can make a lot more money by doing that. And so we've become a very competitive environment where we're trying to be competitive in our salaries and our wage scales and benefits, not only with local hospitals, but to the extent possible with traveling agencies as well, which has inflated our salary budget, and managing the budget is another challenge that we're dealing with.
Well, Raymond, I have no doubt, you are always gonna make the right decision, even though it's gonna be difficult. But again, I really just admire your stewardship. I think that's the one thing that I've learned from you, is that you are a great caretaker. And I just want to echo one of our student chancellor's comments. We need you here at CCSF.
I saw that. What a nice compliment.
So Ray, in terms of some of the legacies you left behind, one of them is that in 2016 you achieved the distinction of becoming the first and only hospital CEO to reopen a California hospital after it was closed. So tell us more about this experience. What was it like, and what did you have to do to sort of get that going?
It's really a very different experience, different than anything that I had ever done in my career. And what set the stage for that was when I was the CEO of the Mendocino Coast Hospital, and collaborating and working with other hospitals and leaders. I met many hospitals, district hospitals, and publicly elected boards down in the Bay Area, particularly the North Bay Area around Santa Rosa. There were 3 small hospitals outside of Santa Rosa, one in Sonoma, one in Healdsburg, and one in Sebastopol, that were part of our collaborative effort. And unfortunately, the hospital in Sebastopol did face overwhelming challenges with their finances, and made the very difficult decision to close their doors in around 2010 or so, 2011. I had moved on from the Mendocino Coast Hospital. I was working at a hospital down in Southern California at Big Bear Lake. And I received a phone call from the board chairman for the foundation in Sebastopol that said, "We want to hire you to come back to Sebastopol to help us, help our board and help the community reopen the hospital." And I took it as a great challenge, and it really involved quite a bit. It took 2 years in all. So for 2 years, I was doing something very different than what I had been doing previous, with running a hospital and collaborating with other facilities and checking in on staff. I was hiring the staff, and we hired our senior leadership. I hired a chief nursing officer, hired a CFO, hired our surgery director and started to put together a staff by hiring first the leaders and who had the responsibility of creating infrastructure within the facility to meet the very intense government regulations. We had to meet the California law for seismic safety for facilities, SB 1953, which was enforced by the Office of Statewide Health Planning and Development, OSHPD, commonly referred to as OSHPD. First, we had to be approved by OSHPD that our facility was safe and was seismically safe. And that actually included replacing a oxygen storage tank facility outside the building because that was deemed to be unsafe and non-compliant, and making sure that all of our fire safety systems were brought up to code. And the first part really was involved with facilities. Once we got through facilities, then we had to deal with the State Department of Public Health. And the State Department of Health has responsibility for surveying, inspecting hospitals on behalf of the federal government, CMS, Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. So the Department of Health and their field office out of Santa Rosa was inspecting us to make sure that we met the Medicare conditions of participation. That went on for months until we had hired all the staff, ordered the drug supply, ordered the medical supplies, created a medical record system, and we created a new electronic medical record system for our facility. Hired doctors, had emergency room doctors ready to go, as well as hospitalists and surgeons. And we, on the third or fourth try, we did pass the State Department of Health inspection, which meant that we did get our license back, but there's actually one more hurdle to pass after that. And that is in order to be paid by Medicare and Medicaid and insurance companies, we had to be accredited. There's several different accrediting organizations nowadays. The best known is Joint Commission on Accreditation to Hospitals. We chose an up-and-coming emerging accrediting agency called DNV. DNV is an international organization that's been around for hundreds of years and has been approved by Medicare and the federal government to certify hospitals since about 2008. And we went through the accreditation process, passed that accreditation process, and got final approval to bill Medicare for services rendered. And after 2 years, we were, with a lot of great fanfare, able to reopen the hospital.
Wow. That's incredible, Raymond. I just cannot believe you decided to take that on, because that seemed like an endless list of things to do, right? So thank you again. That's just one example of your legacy. Certainly, I'm sure the hospital in Sebastopol now is running just smoothly because, again, you reopened its doors. So thank you.
Well, thank you. I was very tired.
I bet.
I was very tired by the time that was over with. It was a lot of very long days. I typically work long days, but it was 10 and 12-hour days, 6 and 7 days a week for almost 2 years. And the hospital is still open today.
Yeah.
But it was, great experience.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So
something I can always be proud of.
Absolutely. So the next question, really, in terms of, trying to ask you to forecast the future, what do you envision healthcare in rural communities looking like in 10, 15 years? Because, as you know, folks are starting to migrate to the cities.
Yep.
So what do you think is going to happen to the rural communities out there?
It's really interesting. People are migrating to the cities, but with the pandemic, especially, we're seeing some migration to rural in the country as well. And if you think about it, with technology today, and many people having the ability to telecommute. If you're a full-time telecommuter, you can actually live anywhere. And I've actually seen in Mendocino and up here in Bandon, Oregon, other rural parts of the country where people are starting to rethink where they want to live for quality of life. And rural areas are among the most beautiful parts of the country. I mean, 80% of the land mass in the United States, I think I saw yesterday. Yesterday was National Rural Health Day. And one of the statistics that I quoted to our staff here is 20% of the population is considered to be rural, but that 20% occupies 80% of the land mass in the United States. So, beautiful areas such as where I live now, Bandon, Oregon, which is a coastal community with phenomenal views, and living in Mendocino and Fort Bragg, even when I was in Southern California and Big Bear Lake, really beautiful areas. And there are a lot of people that are becoming telecommuters and moving to rural areas. In fact, I recently sold our home in Mendocino that we had for 12 years. And we sold it to a couple from Los Angeles. They sold their home in Los Angeles, moved to Mendocino because they had friends that had already moved to our area and opened up a restaurant, and others in our neighborhood. So, long story short, as far as the future is concerned, that I think that rural is going to continue to be a very important part of our healthcare system in the country, with more people moving to rural areas that have the ability to telecommute. And we'll continue to deal with the challenges of providing for the needs of patients, although bringing more, a bit more population and a bit more income and education levels into the rural communities. We'll still deal with problems with economies of scale. There's still going to be a smaller population, and still not going to be able to justify buying the latest CAT scanner or MRI in a smaller facility. So will always be important as that initial point of contact in saving lives and transporting to larger facilities. That's really our sweet spot in our role.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to take the next question to national level. So certainly we've been through a lot the last 20, 30 years in terms of healthcare reform.
Yep.
Certainly Obamacare changed the landscape dramatically.
Yep.
So Raymond, what do you see the future of healthcare in America to look like now that we have this seismic shift with Obamacare?
Yeah, we're starting to see it, of course, as you know. One of the aspects that we're seeing is a lot of competition among the traditional healthcare providers of the hospitals and physicians and medical groups, and now seeing entries by corporate America with Walmart, for example, and Apple and Amazon, all of which are now creating healthcare programs and becoming healthcare providers and offering healthcare services in a retail environment as a comparison, as an alternative to going to traditional hospital providers. So there's some movement and competition with retail facilities, and then yes, as you suggest, we've made a huge shift towards more universal healthcare with Obamacare, and what I think is the direction we're going to head is more of a Medicare for all type model, where Medicare will have a standard set of benefits, but Medicare, maybe a Medicare Advantage influence. Medicare Advantage still has an opportunity for the traditional health insurance plans, Kaiser, Blue Cross, Aetna, others, are providing Medicare services through Medicare Advantage plans where they provide all of the basics, but enhanced services as well that are not part of Medicare. And I think eventually it's going to be either a choice of the traditional healthcare insurance model that we have now, or everybody will be moving towards Medicare for all.
Well, thank you, Raymond. I just got to ask that question because, again, I'm curious as well, the direction of healthcare, access to healthcare. So
Yes.
thank you for sharing. So I know I only have 8 more minutes with you before I turn it over to Chloe to ask questions from the audience. So the next question, Ray, if somebody wants to be a hospital CEO one day or a hospital administrator one day, what are 3 pieces of advice would you give to that individual?
Yep, great question. And as you might imagine from some of my previous answers to your question, I think the first is to be present. I think you used those words even earlier. Be present, be a good listener, send the best version of yourself into the facility every day. My second piece of advice would be to pay attention to customer satisfaction in the healthcare environment in particular today. Quality is greatly impacted by customer satisfaction, and word of mouth is very, very positive. I was in our facility earlier this week, and a woman that I had met out in the community came up to me and said, "We are so appreciative of the care that your facility provided to our son. He's been here in your facility for a week. He's being discharged home today. We've been in a lot of hospitals, big ones, small ones. We're from Southern California. Our son could not have received better care." And of course, I think social media is huge as far as influencers. So I anticipate people like that are going to be out in the community talking about our facility and giving us a Google rating, which we hope will be positive. We're shooting for a 5-star rating. So customer satisfaction, I think, is the second key. And the third, I think, is lifelong commitment to education. I'm a fellow in the American College of Healthcare Executives, as was mentioned in the earlier introductory comments. I think that's a commitment to career-long education, continuing to learn, continuing to make our facility better, and encourage in our facility that our senior team and all of our staff continue to be committed to lifelong learning and continuous education.
Great advice. So for the folks who want to go into the nursing profession or any, allied health field profession, what would you say to them in terms of, how to prepare to be in the nursing, healthcare, allied health profession?
Yes. First of all, I highly encourage it. Healthcare jobs are plentiful. They're not going away. They are a great source of income. You can be very highly paid in any of the ancillary service areas such as nursing, technology, pharmacy. There's so many different avenues. So I would say the first thing that I would recommend is become educated on the different types of careers and opportunities. I sometimes wish that when I had been in school, in high school, I had more opportunities for career day fairs and learning about the different types of careers, because at least in my day, maybe it's changed now, but there was not a lot of information on the different types of careers that are available. People thought of doctors and nurses and that's it, but pharmacy is a great career. respiratory therapy, clinical lab technologist, physical therapist, so many great careers, and they're all very highly paid. So I would say do your homework, learn about the different types of healthcare professions that are available. There's a lot of them, many that you've never heard of, and then find out, where the best training opportunities, training programs are. There's excellent training programs in each of these fields, and pursue your goal. And I can almost guarantee it. I mean, if you're of a mindset of wanting to serve people in a meaningful population, in a meaningful profession, I think you'll be happy. But you'll work hard.
Well, Ray, we're down to 3 more minutes. I have one more question, and then certainly I want to transition to Chloe. So Ray, I'm just curious. You've done a lot in your career. What do you want your legacy to be? What do you want? How do you want to leave this world? I mean, certainly you're gonna work for another 30 years. I know that. You're not gonna stay retired. What do you want your legacy to be?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. It will be difficult to leave. I enjoy what I'm doing so much. Enjoy coming to work every day. I come to work with a smile on my face. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy talking to people and helping them accomplish their goals and meeting the needs of the community. I mean, I would think that, I just want to be remembered as somebody that made a difference. Made a difference in our community. Perhaps brought some programs to the area, some new doctors, something that saved a life and made a difference in that family.
Well, you're very humble. For the folks who don't know, Ray is super humble. He's again been a great source of inspiration to me the last again 15 years, and I know I will always be able to give Ray a call, text, and we'll I'll be getting great advice. But again, thank you, Ray. I really appreciate you spending time with us. This ends my portion of our fireside chat. Again, I cannot thank you enough for sharing your wisdom with us. Again, some of the students on the call certainly, want to go into the healthcare field, and I think it's great that they get to hear from you, a very seasoned hospital CEO. So without further ado, again, folks on the call, if you have a question, please email to Amy. Amy will get the questions for Chloe to ask. And again, this next 20 minutes is for you in the audience to ask Raymond questions. So I'll turn it over to the facilitator, Chloe.
Hello, everyone. Thank you again for joining us today. And my name is Chloe Lian, and I am a senator on the Downtown Associated Student Council, and also an ESL student at CCSF. And thank you, Vice Chancellor Lee, for inviting Ray today. And thank you, Ray, for taking time out of your busy schedule to share your stories and experience with us. And we have learned so much from you. And I see that there are several questions from the audience. If you have questions, please feel free to enter them in the chat, Amy, who is helping with our Q&A. For the next 18 minutes, I will be facilitating this Q&A portion. And I see the audience has a lot of questions for you. I think we are ready to get started. Is that okay, Ray?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. And the first question is, did you have thoughts at the beginning of your career to be a doctor in order to be closer to patients? Looks like with such personality traits, you can be one of the best doctors in the US.
Oh, thank you for that. And that's a great question. Not really. I never really was that good in science. And in order to be a good doctor, you really need to be a good scientist. And I've always felt that my role was to help the doctors, give them everything that they need to take care of patients. But I do agree with the person raising the question. The best doctors, besides being scientists, are also very good with their patients. And I've known some really great doctors in my career that relate well to their patients, make their patients feel very good when they spend time with them. So I think it's a combination of both, but thank you for that. I'm not a scientist.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your response. And the next question is, what is your framework for developing priorities when everything seems important, but you don't have the necessary resources?
Yes, and that is a frequent problem. The prioritization when everything is important, and that's kind of what we're dealing with now in the strategic planning process that I was talking about. Everything is important, and how we've dealt with that is to identify time frames of what's the first thing that we need to do in order to tackle some of the major challenges, and it might be to take some small steps and to adopt a policy or to hire a new coordinator. But I think it's important to just to take your time, evaluate all of the important aspects of everything that needs to be done, and then make sure that we're doing the things that we need, first of all, to ensure quality care in our facility and patient safety above all else. So it will give priority to quality and patient safety as our top priorities.
Thank you. Thank you for your response. And the last question is, what are the biggest challenges your organization is facing right now? And what traits do you look for when assembling a leadership team?
Two more great questions. What's the biggest challenge that we're facing right now? And what are we looking for in our leadership team? The biggest challenge that we're facing right now, actually, as a facility, we're a smaller facility here. I'm located in Oregon, Southern Oregon, in a coastal community, and we are surrounded by other hospitals. I mean, there's a hospital, bigger hospital, 25 miles to the north of us. There's a similar size hospital 25 miles to the east of us. There's another similar size hospital 25 miles to the south of us. I'm all about collaboration, as I said, and I've met with the leaders of each of those organizations and how we can work together, because none of us can solve all the challenges on our own. But one of the challenges that I inherited was a reputation issue, quite honestly. I think there has been an attitude in this community and within this facility that this hospital is not as good as some of the other hospitals. So, I've made it a major part of our strategic plan to demonstrate to our community, even our employees and stakeholders, that we're an excellent hospital, and that we save lives, and we deserve to be supported by the local community. And I'll tell you how we did it. We've already made great steps towards solving that challenge of really repairing our reputation. We decided as an organization to voluntarily go through an accreditation survey, the same accreditation survey that we went through when I was at the Sebastopol Hospital a few years ago. Similarly, that hospital needed accreditation in order to get paid by Medicare. We chose to do accreditation here so that we could demonstrate to our community that we are an excellent hospital, that we're meeting the same standards of excellence that the large hospitals are all meeting as well. We got last week, we were able to make an announcement to our staff and our public that we received a favorable approval on accreditation. We're now a 3-year fully accredited hospital. For the first time in the 25-year history of this hospital, first time we've been accredited. So we're able to make that statement and tell the public and the community that we do provide excellent care at this facility. And a large part of that has been our leadership team, which is the second part of that question. It is very important to be very selective when we bring new leaders into our organization. One of the things that I've found here is that there has been a tendency in the past to hire somebody that was immediately available. We may not have gone through a thorough vetting process and search process to find the very best candidate. The hospital prior to my arrival here would tend to hire somebody that was immediately available and willing to take the job. That's not the right approach. We now are very selective. We leave leadership positions vacant for months if need be until we get the right person. And in the last couple of months, we've hired a new HR director who came from Wisconsin. We've hired a new surgery director who's coming from Washington. We've hired a new clinic manager who's local in the community, but she was previously the clinic manager at another clinic just down the street from us, and brings all of that experience. So the answer to the second part of your question is take your time and choose the right leader with experience and qualifications and not make hasty choices.
Thank you. Thank you for your answer. And the next question is, which area of your job is the most challenging for you? For example, recruiting and team building, finance and budgeting, multitasking with many departments.
Great question. Yeah, what part of your job is most challenging? And is it financial? Is it team building? Is it working with many departments? I really enjoy the team building and creating a cohesive team and mentoring others. So that's not the most difficult part of the job for me. And working with others is not either. Finance, I might say, is maybe the most challenging of those choices that are mentioned, but even overall, I'm not a accountant or CPA, and I really rely upon our finance team, and I'm blessed with an excellent CFO at our facility and excellent advice. So I do need to work extra hard to keep up to date on our finances and learning the exactly where we're at and the best techniques. I rely upon others for that, but finance is probably the most challenging.
Thank you. Thank you for your answer. And the next question is, a hospital is a large community. So what do you do when you have conflicts between departments?
Yeah, that's a great question too. The hospital itself is a community, and we do have conflicts between departments, and it's really important that we resolve those conflicts. So, and I really encourage our team when they have a conflict to try to address conflicts at the lowest level possible, and to meet and department to department among the leadership of the departments to explain the situation that we're in, work towards mutual team building and correction, and I will be a facilitator, and will be there to help lend support for the process, but it's really important to get the people that are immediately affected into the room together, working together, so that we come up with a mutually satisfactory solution. But the question is exactly right. We do have conflicts. We need to deal with them all the time, and we have been very successful in doing that.
Thank you. Thank you for your answer. And the next question is, please tell us what were the most difficult requirements that you faced to get the accreditation for the hospitals?
What were the most difficult requirements for getting accreditation for the hospital? Great question. This hospital, as I said, had not previously been accredited, and so there was a lot of work to be done. And the hardest work, really, I think, is on the quality side. We have a great hospital and great staff, but in order to be accredited and particularly accredited with DNV. And by the way, DNV is a little bit different from Joint Commission. Joint Commission tends to be very driven by policies and procedures and following established protocols and formats, whereas DNV is really all about quality improvement. And quality systems. In fact, I don't know if anybody here on the call tonight is familiar with ISO 9001, but ISO 9001 is a quality management system that is utilized by manufacturing and used by industry for quality standards and improvement of quality practices. DNV has taken the ISO 9001, has applied it to a hospital and healthcare system and application. So for us to be accredited, we had to create new systems for quality management and quality infrastructure. It's meant that our doctors are much more involved than they were before, and our doctors are now involved in our quality management system. We are looking at a variety of metrics on a monthly basis that we weren't looking at before. So we've created some new infrastructure. We've created some new quality metrics, and we're really much more focused on quality management now than we were before.
Thank you. Thank you for answer. And the next question is, could you share with us how you developed your networking skills?
Oh, wow. That's the easy part. And I don't know exactly how that came to be, but and I think the person that sent in that question, I'm very proud of my networking skills. I make it a point of reaching out and reaching out to leaders, to other organizations, to establish those relationships and those connections. I've found that by doing so, I've become sought after and included in professional networks at the state level and even at the national level. I had the great privilege of serving on the American Hospital Association Board of Trustees for 3 years as a result of my networking skills and the work that it put into networking. I would encourage everybody on the call today to utilize LinkedIn. And I think LinkedIn is a great tool to broaden your network as much as possible. Everybody on the call, if you want to, in fact, connect with me on LinkedIn, I will connect with you. That will open you up to all of the thousands of connections that I have on LinkedIn. But I'm very supportive of early careerists and students and helping get your career started and being successful. So utilize LinkedIn, connect with me. I'll accept your invite. Mention in your invite that you heard me speak at the Leadership Fireside Chat, and I will immediately connect with you and help you get connected with anybody that you'd like to be connected with.
Thank you. I think after the meeting, a lot of students will link your LinkedIn. And the next question is, how do you balance your personal life with your work? So, and what is your self-care routine?
Yeah, I mean, that's another a great question. I do like to work-life balance question. I do like to, even though I work fairly long days, I never work on Saturdays. I try to take the entire weekend off, rarely work on Sundays anymore. Try to relax with family, take time with my wife, going out, getting away. We enjoy going on trips and spending time together. So that's pretty much what I do for work-life balance, is take weekends off and spend as much time as possible with family.
Thank you. Thank you for your answer. And we have 5 more minutes for this Q&A. And again, if you'd like to ask Ray a questions, please enter it in the chat to Amy. And the next question is, are there mistakes that you see repeated over and over? And do you feel like employee competition and promotion prevents you from making progress to fix problems times?
Chloe, would you mind repeating the first part of that question? I didn't quite hear the first part of the question.
Okay, and are there mistakes that you see repeated over and over?
Are there mistakes that you see repeated over and over again? And can you finish the rest of the question as well?
Okay, and do you feel like employee competition and promotion prevents you from making progress to fix problems at times?
So employee competition for promotion and progress. That's a good question as well. Very rarely, quite honestly. We really encourage teamwork and employees working together and supporting each other. And I can't really even think of a time when there was a competition between employees. Well, I mean, I guess I can think there's a departmental conflict that we've dealt with, and there may be a competitive part of that. But we've really worked hard to get our employees and our managers and leaders to work together and to work towards the common goals in our strategic plan. I guess what we do is we keep pointing to the plan, the overall plan, and interestingly enough, it's a lot of hard work, and people are working really hard, maybe harder than they've ever worked before. But I'm not hearing a lot of complaining. What I'm hearing is people that are working hard to improve the reputation of this facility, and are proud of the progress, and really not complaining, but working together.
Thank you for your answer. And the last question is, the last question is, what is your favorite ice cream flavor?
It's mint chocolate chip. I like mint chocolate chip.
And why?
Yeah.
It was the follow-up.
Oh, and why? I just like mint. For some reason, I like mint. I mean, I like See's candy, the mints that come from See's candy. Any type of mint is my favorite.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ray, for your interesting answers to the questions from our audience. And now I'm going to turn it over to Neve, who will be facilitating the next portion of our event.
Thank you, Chloe, for facilitating the Q&A portion of our event. And thank you again, Ray, for answering more questions from the audience. We really appreciate you sharing helpful tips, lesson learned, and sage advice. I personally love hearing about your experience, especially when you share about your journey since you were a student in the university and how you choose your major and many steps after to become who you are today. That made me realize that success, it doesn't come in one night. It's a lot of steps, passion, and dedication. And I love when you share about all the skill that to have as a leader, like collaboration, communication, integrity. You treat everyone equal, be present, be accessible, and make your teammate feel comfortable to talk with you. And I really love when you share that you are a lifelong commitment to a career-long education. That was my takeaway. And my name is Nifam, and I am the secretary on the Downtown Associate Student Council and an ESL student and child development student at CCSF. Now I am going to facilitate the last portion of our time together, which is to invite you to share what inspired you today, what you have learned from Ray. If you would like to share, please raise your virtual hand in Zoom and I will call on you. Let me check the participant chat and if I see any hand. Oh, I don't know who go first, but I will call our student Chancellor Heather Friend.
That's okay. You can make space for other students first, please. Go ahead.
Yes, Senator Tucheri.
Yeah, hi, Nia. Thanks so much. Sure, I would like to share my experience. But first of all, again, I would like to say thank you, Ray, for being with us today and sharing your great experience, your inspiring stories and career tips and advices. And I want to mention that for us, students from different countries from all the world, such meetings are very important. It gives us great motivation and support. And when you a lot from you today, especially about work-life balance, public administration and importance of collaboration with other people and transparency. I don't work in healthcare. I'm a tech person, but for me, it was one of the best fireside chats. So thank you again so much.
Thank you, Tony. And I would like to invite Mayara to share your takeaway.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much, Ni. So yeah, my name is Mayara Freitas. I am a student at City College since 2018, and now I serve as the vice president at the AEC downtown. And as I mentioned in the beginning of the event, it's just a pleasure and an honor to be here with you. I'm sorry, my camera was kind of off during the event a little bit because I was working and I was trying to join the event at the same time because I just can't. I was asking my boss for a break, just okay, I just want to hear at least, and I really would like to make time and make the effort to be here at the event because I know how much we're going to learn. So I thank you very much, Raymond Hino, for being here with us. You have no idea how important it is for us to have you and all the guest speakers that have been coming to us to speak and spend your time with us. We learn such valuable lessons. And the most important part is that, you inspire us. And what you just said, we apply for our lives, and not only professional, but also personal lives, and it's great. We leave the event renewed, like rejuvenated. We are a different person every time we hear somebody like you speaking with us. I personally love the part that you said that two of your core values are collaboration and transparency, right? Because I agree that there is no collaboration without transparency. People are not going to collaborate with you if you don't let everybody knows what you want from them, what you expect from them, what is the right thing to do. So being clear and being transparent, I think it's just linked completely with collaboration. And I think they go together everywhere, you are working at. So thank you very much. I can see how humble you are for being available over time, for being there for everybody. So this is amazing. And it's just, as I said, an inspiration for everybody here. Thank you for taking the time to be here with us. And I hope I already followed you on LinkedIn as you shared, Geisce Ly. I already connected with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayara. And we have 1 more minute for one more comment. Heather, student chancellor, Heather friend.
No worries. Thank you so much, Secretary Pham. Appreciate that. I just wanted to say this for me has been one of my favorite leadership fireside chats. You're an amazing speaker and leader. And I really want to thank you for the reminder of what leadership is and should and can look like. And you sound like the type of person that I would want to work with or work for. And I would imagine that lends to lower rates of turnover for you in terms of employees and the lack of competitiveness between employees too. So I really want to thank you for the example that you've provided today and your leadership, and just say that I think you are making a difference.
Thank you so much for sharing. And I would like to ask Dre if you have any final leadership advice that you would like to share.
Yes, thank you, Pham, and everybody. My final words of advice are to continue to learn, to go for your goals, whatever your goal may be. I had no idea that I was going to end up in healthcare and end up doing what I was doing, and is just through hard work, dedication, but setting a goal and going after your goal, I think, is the most important advice.
Wow. Yes, we are at the end of our time together. Thank you everybody who joined today's Leadership Fireside Chat. It was truly an insightful learning opportunity. And again, a very special thank you to Ray for joining us today for this Leadership Fireside Chat. We are truly inspired by you and your story and are honored to have you among our notable guests.
Thank you so much. I hope you all have a great evening. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you again, Ray. I just so appreciate you being here. Again, thank you to the student facilitators, Timon, Anton, me, Chloe. Thank you. You all did a great job. Our next speaker is going to be on December 16th. It's going to be with Joshua Moon Johnson. Joshua Moon Johnson is an author. He has written 2 books. He is an expert on LGBTQIA, and he is currently serving as the Vice President of Student Services just down the freeway at College of San Mateo. So it's going to be another great session. In the meantime, enjoy your Thanksgiving. Thank you so much. If we don't see each other before Thanksgiving, thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you again, Ray.
Everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.